Hey everybody, Shadow Phoenix here, and welcome back to some Planet Coaster. Hot off the heels of a very controversial video I apparently posted yesterday. I am back with another Planet Coaster video, and what we are going to do today is a special announcement by me. So what we are going to be doing is something I've kind of been planning for a little bit and been kind of had it in the works. I almost started it a couple times but never did get around to it, and that is a community park. Now my original version was supposed to have been what Crystal Gardens turned into. So I built an entrance, and the idea was I was going to pass the park along to, like different people, and they build for 2 weeks, and then we hand it off to somebody else and they build for 2 weeks, etc, etc, etc. Lots of people were interested in that, however nobody wanted to go first. So eventually what I ended up doing was just turning Crystal Gardens, well, basically into Crystal Gardens, which is what you see now. It's pretty much my own park. So I decided I still liked the idea of that, and I come up with a different idea. Instead of passing it from one person to the next person to the next person, we're going to do something different. The idea here is that we have a completely blank park barring the entrance. Now, the entrance may not stay here. The entrance could be moved anywhere. I haven't made that decision yet on how we're going to do that, but what we're going to do is basically I'm asking for anybody who wants to be a part of this project to send me a blueprint. Now, this could be a blueprint for a roller coaster. It could be a blueprint for a building. It could be a blueprint for a really cool bathroom or something. And once you send those to me, and you want to send those to my email address, which is shadowphoenix@gmail.com, and it's spelled with the X, and it's spelled weird because the Phoenix is spelled weird. But yeah, that link will be below in the video comments, or not comments, but in the description, so you'll be able to find that easy enough. And basically, yeah, just send me what you would like to maybe see in this park. It might be kind of difficult to get a few people to go first, but let's just try this and see how it goes. The idea is that once you send me your blueprint, if I like it good enough, let's say you send me a really cool, I don't know, a boomerang coaster, right? I will look at that and I'll be like, oh, you know what, that's perfect. We can use that over, say, here maybe, and have it at the entrance of the park. Now, yeah, that is kind of like Crystal Gardens, so maybe instead of, well, maybe we'll go different. Maybe we'll put it over here. Nonetheless, it could go anywhere in the park, right? So you could send me a bathroom or maybe a Main Street building or something like that, and I think, oh, that's really cool. I really like that. And then once you send it to me, I will add it to the park and build around it and kind of make it look, along with the park. Now, I may do 2 or 3, if you send me a building, I may do 2 or 3 buildings at once just to kind of get the area. Or maybe your building may interact with a coaster somebody builds me. Like, maybe somebody sends me a really cool inverted coaster, right? And we decide to put that up here, right in this area. And then somebody else sends me a really cool, like, restaurant or something, and I think, you know what, that restaurant kind of matches the theme of this coaster, so then we may do a coaster plaza and put the restaurant with the coaster and that. So either way, anything anybody sends me, I can't guarantee it will get added to the park. It just depends. We have some rules, and I'll get to those rules in just a minute. But the idea is that, you'll get full credit for it, and I will showcase your work. So people keep asking me to, I'll be streaming and be like, hey, can you look at my park? Go, hey, I built this. Can you go check it out? And I'll be like, well, that's not really me. When I'm streaming on my Twitch stream, I'm building. I don't really have the time to go look at other people's stuff or things like that, I do appreciate a good build. I'm not saying I don't. I'm just saying, when I'm streaming, it's for me. I'm playing the game to enjoy it for that moment, and I'm not going to go, and just because you want me to go and check out your work, etc, etc, etc. However, like I said, I do appreciate other people's work quite a bit, and I've seen some really, really cool stuff. So this is what this is kind of about. So send me what you would like to do in this park, and it might be something maybe you have already got it created. Maybe it's in your workshop already, and you're really, really proud of it, and you would like to see somebody use it. Well, if that's so, send it over to me. If I like it, we'll see if we can find a spot for it. Or, you know, maybe once things kind of get going with this, you may see a vacant spot in the park and be like, I have a really cool idea for that spot. And then you get to work and you create something and you send it to me. Well, alright then, I will take a look at it. If it's cool, we will put it into the park and you will get a spotlight and a shout out. That's kind of how this is going to work. Now, each episode of this series will be a shout out to 1, 2, or 3 different people, depending on what we are actually working with at the moment. And it will be all about your work. So I will show you how I integrated your work into this park, and then talk about how, you know, what I enjoy about your creation. You know, maybe there's some things that I might have to change or something like that to make it work. We'll discuss that. But it is mostly, this is my version of Spotlight. So I want to spotlight everybody else's work, and we're going to do a community park. And that is the basic idea of this. Now, so let's talk about what I've already done here, which is this awesome looking, if I do say so myself, entrance here. Now, I got this idea. Many of you who are from the area or are huge theme park fans may recognize that this is resembling Dorney Park. You would be correct. That is the reference photo that I used, 4 or 5 different reference photos plus Street View from Google to kind of get a decent recreation of the actual entrance to Dorney Park. It's not perfect, but then again, it's really hard to make things perfect in Plinko unless you're Rudy Rincomo with his Space Mountain recreation. That thing is freaking awesome. But yeah, and that is what I kind of built for this, just to kind of start us off. I've got kind of a plaza. Now, again, like I said, this may move. I may put it over here, or I may put it over here, kind of corner, and maybe we'll do a whole corner park, kind of like that. Kind of like we did with Vista View. We don't know. We don't know what kind of great things are going to come to this park. We don't know anything over here yet. I'm going to let you guys kind of decide what gets into the park and stuff. Maybe sometimes, maybe we may take some votes. Maybe I'll get some stuff and I'll be like, I can't decide between these. So I will go on my Twitter and I will post a poll for that week, and you guys tell me what you like about that. We'll try to do one of these, at least one a month, but maybe 2 a month. I've also got my park tours that we're going to be doing, and those of you who have sent me parks for park tours, thank you so much. I've seen some awesome stuff. I've received 3 or 4. I'm going to do at least 3 of those in some sort of order. You're going to see that next week. I promise you there will be a park tour next week. It'll be on next Thursday. So that will be next Thursday's Planet Coaster video. So we're going to go back to the park tour and tour a new park. But, alright, yeah, so that's kind of all I wanted to do, was kind of get in here and talk about what my plans are for this. I hope you guys think this is a great idea. I hope you guys would like to join in. And, you know, just like those aliens from Rick and Morty, show me what you got. Yeah, so basically send it over to me. Let's see. Let's find our first creations for this park, and let's get to adding, and let's make this park awesome for you, the community, and my followers. Yeah, I mean, this is basically just for, you know, fans of me, but not necessarily. Maybe you're just starting to watch, you know, you don't have to be something, you know, that you don't have to be one of my followers. I'm not going to be like, you know, a different channel and be like, oh, if you want it to be in this park, you got to subscribe to me on Patreon. You got to submit like, you know, $5 or $10 to me so I can add it to the park. No, I'm not going to do that. If I think it's cool, it's going to get into the park. It's as plain and simple as that. You do not have to donate to get your thing into this park. That being said, donations are always awesome. So, you know, don't be afraid to do that if you would like to. Now, that is an emphasis on if you would like to. So, not required at all. You're going to see a lot of stuff, and hopefully, anyway, if this works out well, that is just going to be some awesome creations. And we're going to try to keep this a somewhat realistic park in the vein of like Six Flags, Alton Towers, Cedar Fair Park, Kings Island, you know, things like that. Kennywood, Canopy Lake, or Kenobi Lake. I don't know exactly how that's pronounced. Kentucky Kingdom, which is no longer part of Six Flags. Those kinds of things like that is what we're looking for. That's what we're kind of going for. We want to build a realistic park. So no giant, you know, demon mountains or anything like that, or nothing that's just like out of the in the fantasy realm. You know, no floating islands, basically. Stuff like that. Just keep it realistic. That's what we're looking for. Simple, realistic, fantastic looking masterpieces of Planet Coaster. That's what I want to see from you guys. So, you know, let's see what you guys got. I want to see your creations. Plain and simple as that. I want to spotlight you in these videos. And that's what this is all about. So, one last time, make sure you check there will be my email address in the description below. It is shadowphoenix@gmail.com. That's with the X and the Phoenix spelled weird. Everybody says I spell my name weird, and it's true, it is. And there's a reason for that, but not for this video. Alright, so that's going to be it for me. Let's jump into the time-lapse video of this awesome creation so you guys can see how this got made. Thanks so much for tuning in, and let's talk about that now. Alright guys, so here we are in the building of the Dorney Park entrance that I kind of made there, the recreation of Dorney Park's entrance. Trying to figure out how to get started with this. We don't have a whole lot of pieces. I didn't really want to use art shapes to make that kind of curved structure on top of it, and I thought we'll do it this way just because we'll try to be a little different and, you know, maybe create something unique that's not necessarily recreation but something of my own taste. While we are actually building the building here, let's talk about some rules for this spotlight. Alright, so rule number 1, and this goes without saying, but I think I had to say it anyway. It must be your own content. Now obviously this means no submitting something that somebody else made. You know, if you send me something and I'll be like, wait a minute, you didn't create this, White Cider made this, or Red Dragons made this, you know, most likely I'm going to see this, or it's going to be pointed out to me, and that is a huge no-no. Don't do that, guys. Don't submit me your friend's work. You know, if your friend wants to submit it, have your friend submit it to me. Don't do it for him. You know, I mean, this is a basic rule, but it goes without saying, but yet I still feel like it needs to be said. Alright, so let's go into the next rule, which kind of leads us, you know, the first rule kind of leads into this. Original content. No recreations of existing coaster. That means no Fury 325 recreations, no Alpengeist. Basically, be creative. Let's see something new. You know, if it's a coaster that's already been duplicated, like a factory model, you know, because like boomerangs are actually like that, or some of the Eurofighters and stuff, or an Intamin Megalite, they're pretty much all exactly the same kind of layout. You know, then that's fine. You can definitely send those in because they're not necessarily a recreation; they're a factory model that lots of parks buy. Same thing with like these new the Trex coasters or whatever that are going in at where I know Six Flags is getting one. Yeah, the Wonder Woman and the Railblazer coasters. I know what you know. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. I can't think of the park's names though. So, you know, those two are exactly the same coaster. They just have different theming. Think like that. So, you know, if you want to send me something like that, that's perfectly fine. Just don't send me recreations of custom coasters, such as, you know, Banshee or anything like that. You know, I don't want to see hang time in my park. You know, it might be a Gerstlauer Eurofighter that is exactly the same kind of layout or whatever, but you know, make it yours. Be unique. Be creative. All right. When being creative leads into my next rule, rule number 3. It has to be non-IP. This means don't send me your Matrix coaster. Matrix is an awesome movie. I love the Matrix. I watch it every single time it's on TV. We're not going to put a Matrix coaster in this park though. No Spider-Man coasters or dark rides. No Avatar, Frozen, Aladdin, etc., etc., etc. Again, be creative. I want to see your decisions. Now, you may have a very, very generic theme to your coaster. Maybe it's just something called, I don't know, you could call it Griffin. Sure, it could be called Griffin, but, you know, don't make it a dive coaster. Because that's like, no, that's Griffin and Busch Gardens. Don't do that. But, you know, maybe you have a wing coaster called Griffin. Oh, that's fine. All right. Yeah, be unique. Be creative. Hopefully that is kind of making sense to you guys. Number 4. Rule number 4. Realistic. Right? I spoke about this a little bit earlier in the video. No floating islands. No 800-foot RMCs. Think about what would be in an actual park today. You know what I mean? Not something that's going to be like, well, yeah, it is an 800-foot RMC, but we may have these. Nobody says nobody can't build one. Physics right now kind of say it. Plus, it doesn't actually exist. So, nothing that's going to be in a park in like 20 years or something like that. I want to see stuff that you would find in like, you know, a Six Flags or a Cedar Fair park, you know, or Alton Towers or Blackpool Pleasure Beach. You know, there's so many parks out there. Think about your hometown park, your favorite parks. Think about how that is done. That's what I want to see. Just keep it realistic. You know what I mean? Yeah, so that is pretty much my 4 rules, I think. If any other things pop up, we'll discuss it as we go in each video. But those are the 4 main rules. In short, be creative, guys. Show me what you can do, not what other people have done. Plain and simple as that. Alright, Q&A time. So these are some questions that I think might come up. Does it have to be a coaster? Absolutely not. It can be a flat ride. It can be, you know, a skin for a flat ride. If it's going to be a skin for a flat ride, make sure you put the flat ride in it, because sometimes those things are kind of hard to line up. It can be a simple building, like maybe a restaurant or a shop or something. You know, that's really well done. All right, next question would be, I see you were working on a Main Street Western area or whatever. Do I have to submit something that goes along with that in particular? I think this would be a question that would pop up. So, no. If I'm doing an entry plaza or a Main Street building or something 1 week, you can submit something that I might use at a later date, like I say, in the back of the park. It doesn't have to be something in that specific location that I'm working on right then and there. You know, basically, it all depends on kind of how things kind of flow with this park and how things go. We're not going to build from maybe the front and then all the way to the back, and as we go, it might be something we're kind of building from there. You know what I mean? Alright, so let's go into the next question. How about a sci-fi themed ride? Okay, so let's say you want to do a Space Mountain recreation. I might be able to fit a Space Mountain type of ride in there. I've seen some awesome stuff that some people have done. I've seen like giant domes and stuff that doesn't necessarily resemble Space Mountain, etc. I'm not a huge sci-fi guy, though. I mean, I love sci-fi TV, you know, things like that. I love sci-fi movies. I don't like sci-fi in my parks. I know Disney has Tomorrowland, and I know some other parks kind of go that route. I don't typically build that way, so it would be hard for me to. That's like the one theme that I mostly will stay away from. But that doesn't necessarily mean we won't. It kind of depends on how the park gets laid out, which is going to, again, go with the flow, because I'm building this for you guys. You know, I suppose, however, you know, honestly, if I'm not a fan of sci-fi things in Planko, but occasionally, like I said, one will pop up that's above the rest. It's just not usually a theme that I go with. And so, but you know, if you guys send me enough stuff and we have enough things that could maybe make for a sci-fi themed area, then yeah, just not. I don't want to build like Mars in my park. You know what I mean? We could have maybe a sci-fi themed ride, or so maybe a slightly sci-fi themed area or something like that. Maybe a little bit like Tomorrowland, but I don't want to go too far out there. I hope you guys get my drift. Do you have to make it just for my park? No. It can be something you already have gotten made. Something you're very, very proud of. Something amazing. You don't have to make your creation just for this park. Although, if possible, do so, because I'll be showing off your creation, your skills, what you can do. That doesn't necessarily mean it has to be done just for this park, though. You already may have something that's just awesome, and nobody uses it, or you've not seen anybody really use it. You would like to see it showcased off. That's fine. Send it over to me. I'll take a look at it. If we like it, we'll put it in there. Next question. Why didn't you use my submission I sent? Well, this could be a number of reasons. I imagine this question is going to pop up quite a bit. I may be, you know, building, and I may be just doing a YouTube video or something for the park for that week and showcasing somebody's, and it'd be like, wait, I did an invert. Why is he using this invert? Alright. This could be a number of reasons, guys. The first reason, you didn't follow the rules, maybe, right? Maybe there were just better submissions with that type of coaster. You know, maybe your creation was great, you know, but if somebody else does it slightly better, then I want to kind of go that route. That may be where maybe the voting might come in at on my Twitter feed. So if you guys aren't, you know, following me on Twitter, make sure you do that as well, because a lot of this is kind of go under that. You know, if somebody else, you know, you submit that invert, somebody else submits that invert is just better in some way, we most likely won't have 2 inverts in the same park. That just doesn't really happen unless you're Six Flags and you have like 3 boomerangs in one park. Maybe I'm going to use it, but I just haven't yet. That's another thing that could pop up. You know, maybe you sent me a Eurofighter and it's been like a couple of weeks since you sent it to me. Doesn't necessarily mean I'm not going to use it, guys. Just be patient. I most likely won't say if I will or won't use something, and if I do, I won't go into detail about why I didn't choose it or anything like that. You just have to tune in to each episode on YouTube to kind of see what gets added and who gets spotlighted and stuff like that. You know, if you don't get picked, don't worry. You know, you can always submit more than one creation, which I guess is another question that might pop up. You know, can you submit more than one thing? Yes, absolutely. However, I do want to kind of showcase other people's work and not just like the same things from from the same person. So if you submit something, I may use that, but anything else you submit after that may not get used. But that doesn't necessarily mean, you know, maybe you sent me, going back to the invert thing, maybe you sent me an inverted coaster, and then, you know, you also sent me a building. If we don't use the invert, maybe we'll use the building. If we don't use the building, maybe we'll use the invert. You never know. But once I do use something of yours and it has been showcased and stuff, I probably won't want to do anything else from you unless it is just absolutely positively amazing. I don't know how big this park is going to be yet. I have no idea. So it is just going to be a go with the flow kind of thing. And, you know, it depends on what gets submitted. That is kind of what this is going to be like. So this is, I'm in completely new territory, I'll be honest with you. I think it's an interesting experiment. I want to try it, and I hope you guys will follow along with me as we kind of go through this. Last question, touched upon this already, but we'll touch upon it again. How do I submit it? You want to email your submission to shadowphoenix@gmail.com. Once again, that's shadowphoenix spelled the same way as my gamer tag on Xbox, my YouTube, my Twitter, my Twitch. It's all spelled the same. I don't really spell it any differently anywhere else. That's the best way to submit it. Steam messages, Discord messages, Twitch messages, Twitter, these get lost easy in the shuffle of things, and I created this email just for fans to reach me, or, you know, or to submit things for me to look at. That's what this email was created for, so please use that email. Don't send it to me on Discord in a private message. You know, if you want to reach out to me that way, that's perfectly fine. You know, maybe you have some questions or something, that's fine. Just don't submit your stuff to me that way, because I want to keep everything in order and kind of do that. Alright, so that's pretty much the rules and a Q&A about what we are going to be doing here. So I hope you guys have enjoyed our little video here, a look at the construction of our park and the announcement here of what we are going to be doing. I hope you guys are going to have fun with this, because I think it's going to be fun. It's a fun experiment, and it helps me to, you know, maybe to get you guys some publicity and to show off your work. You know, that's kind of what I want to do this for. It's kind of me, you know, I don't know, it's kind of me showcasing you while also kind of working on some stuff of my own that I'm going to enjoy doing. I'm going to love doing this. I'm going to love looking at your submissions and then adding them into the park in my own way. That's going to be the cool part for me, is, you know, I get to build these things into the park and add them, and kind of make them fit what we already have. That's going to be the fun part for me. For you, you get exposure, which is great for you. So, you know, and, you know, sometimes maybe you just want to be proud of your work. That's all it's about. All right, guys, My name is Shadow Phoenix. Thanks so much for tuning in. I will see you next Thursday for a Planet Coaster Park tour. And again, Crystal Gardens will be back on Saturday. In the meantime, keep watching my other videos, guys. Surviving Mars, my car simulator, all of my other stuff I create here for my channel. More than one video a day most of the time. Watch those. It helps me out so much. And, you know, the more views I get on those, the more I can figure out what you guys are interested in. Because I'm more than just a Planet Coaster guy. I love a lot of different games. I'm a huge gamer, and I don't want to be known just for Planet Coaster. So definitely check out my other videos as well. But if you come here just for the Planet Coaster, always remember Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays will always be a Planet Coaster day. My name is Shadow Phoenix. I'm out of here, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hey everyone, if you'd like to help support me and my channel, I have a Patreon page where you can do just that. You can pledge anything from $1 or more. Anyone who pledges $15 or more gets a unique, specially designed roller coaster and Planet Coaster made just for them. My little way of saying thanks. You can also just send donations as well if you don't want to join Patreon. And you can find those links in the video description below. Every tiny red cent I make from these means the world to me and is extremely helpful. If you're interested in my PC setup that I work with and play on that you see here, every piece of the system is described below with links to Amazon if you want to purchase them or anything else. Thanks for tuning in to my videos and my channel. If you aren't already a subscriber, click that on the screen below. And you can also check out a few of my other videos on the screen here as well. You can keep up to date on what's going on in my own little world via Twitter or watch me stream live on Twitch as well. Links are in the video description below. So wherever you are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night.